the case of most movies, the battle is won and lost after they have released. Critical consensuses set in, moviegoers buy their tickets, and then we all sit back, relax, and see whether the thing swims or gets gobbled up by a meg-sized tidal wave of discourse and low box office receipts. Sometimes, though, movies lose long before they've hit theater screens. I'm Ewan, this is What Culture, and here are 10 upcoming movies that have already pissed fans off. Number 10. MUFASA, The Lion King. Disney's live-action remakes of their animated films are done so frequently that the announcement of almost every one is met with a groan from a considerable portion of the internet. And I have to admit that I'm one of them. They're just bland, ugly facsimiles that rob any of the vibrancy of those original stories, and right at the top of this Hannibal Corpse totem pole is The Lion King. The original remake in 2019 was criticized for bringing absolutely nothing different to the proceedings, but next year, the sequel/prequel will release with arguably the biggest change you could ever make to The Lion King. That's right, in MUFASA The Lion King, which will both follow on from The Lion King and act as a prequel at the same time, will not feature James Earl Jones as the titular character. So not only is it going to look bad, it also doesn't have the series' most iconic voice. Number 9. Hot Wheels. You know, I'm putting it out there. When a movie director confidently describes that his upcoming movie, based on a long-running children's toy line, is, quote, emotional, grounded, and gritty, it's maybe time to say that the movies are just over. Yep, as revealed by Mattel the other week, we can expect more toy movies to come in the wake of Barbie, including a horror movie based on the Magic 8 Ball, and the peak galaxy brain idea of the bunch, J.J. Abrams' Hot Wheels. We're also somehow getting a Barney movie from Daniel Kaluuya. Where did we go wrong? Look, I can't really say that I've ever been rooting for Abrams as a filmmaker. He made the worst Mission Impossible, and his Star Wars movies epitomize some of the worst movie trends of the last decade, but it is just daft that this is his next step. 30 years ago, if someone wanted to do a racing movie, they would have done something cool, like Tony Scott's Days of Thunder. Now, we've got Gran Turismo and Hot Wheels. Ford v Ferrari was literally only a few years ago. How did things get this bad so quickly? It's no surprise that people reacted to Hot Wheels with pained groans. If you're gonna make a kids movie, then make a kids movie. Stop trying to dress it up as prestige cinema because it is literally the most embarrassing thing you could do in this scenario. Number 8. Literally every upcoming Star Wars movie. You've gotta hand it to Disney. In the space of less than a decade, folks have gone from, oh yay, more Star Wars, to, please God, no more Star Wars. This is mainly down to the polarizing nature of the sequel movies, with each garnering a specifically emotional reaction from portions of the Star Wars fandom, but also to the unrelenting pace at which Disney has milked its golden bantha. At first, it was nice enough, a little Christmas time treat essentially, but then we got Rise of Skywalker, which by any metric will go down as one of the most cynically crafted movies ever made, an aborted spin-off anthology series, and then stories being sent to the content mines of Disney+. Ewan McGregor's big return as Obi-Wan Kenobi was destined for cinematic grandeur, but ended up being constricted by the volume for Disney's series, and each passing season of The Mandalorian has grown increasingly reliant on, duh, look at the cute tiny baby Yoda, and ooh, character you recognize from that thing. Those moments are part and parcel, more so than the character-driven drama we got in its first season. It's too much, too fast, and too bad. Look, there will undoubtedly be people excited to see a James Mangold Star Wars movie, and a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie, and a movie where Rey leads a new Jedi Order, but the magic overall feels like it's evaporating. Star Wars should be special, but the recent glut of content, and it is content, has cheapened the franchise at an exhausting scale. Number 7. Superman Legacy. James Gunn, unsurprisingly, has faced some backlash already surrounding his DC Universe decisions. Recasts and cancelled projects aside, easily the decision that has caused the most consternation within the DC fandom is the treatment of Henry Cavill. The actor's status within the DCEU had been uncertain really ever since Justice League during Mustachegate, and the closest Superman came to a return for some time was a silhouetted cameo in Peacemaker. Gunn confirmed almost immediately, however, that while Superman would be a big part of his new DCU vision, it would not be Henry Cavill. This would have caused controversy regardless, but coming just after Cavill had been reintroduced into the franchise in a Black Adam post-credits scene was insult to injury. David Cornsweet may turn out to be an inspired choice for the Man of Steel, and personally, even though I'm totally burnt out on shared universes, I am looking forward to that one. But replacing Cavill all the same after all of that was a tad farcical. Superman Legacy, in theory, should be a fantastic movie, written and directed by Gunn himself as something of a passion project and has every chance to succeed. However, with someone other than Cavill as Clark Kent, it's no surprise the Snyder Cut faithful have disavowed it. Number 6. Wicked. Wicked, set to star Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande as Elphaba and Glinda respectively, will release in 2024. And though at the time there was still a large portion of filming and production still to go, director John M. Chu took to social media back in April to offer a tease of what was to come. The 2 images, one of each main character, highlighted their associated color, green for Elphaba and pink for Glinda. To draw the focus to this even more, anything in the images not of these colors came across as extremely dark, which then led to a Twitter backlash. The assumption was that these stills were from the movie and that the director had taken a wonderfully vibrant production and taken every bit of color out of it. Even after Chu responded, telling certain individuals directly that this wasn't the case and that these images were a mere first tease, many were still unhappy. Hopefully the finished movie will speak for itself. Number 5. KRAVEN. Morbius may have endeared himself to the internet down to how pathetic and unnecessary the entire thing was, but there's a difference between using that character and spinning him off into nonsense, and taking a beloved Spider-Man villain and doing the exact same thing. Kraven the Hunter is one of Spidey's greatest ever adversaries, but rather than making his big screen debut opposite the Wallcrawler, he gets to arrive at his own weirdly R-rated action movie played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Oh, how far Shanghai Nights' Charlie Chaplin has come. Or fallen, actually, because Kraven looks not at all good. A grim reminder of how franchise-obsessed Sony is, and how they're willing to contort Spidey's mythology for a sniff of some of that sweet, sweet comic book movie moolah. I'm not really sure who these movies are for anymore. Like, comic book movie obsessives are the only ones who would probably turn out for this, and they would all be far happier with the character facing off against Tom Holland in an MCU movie. Oh, by the way, we also have Madam Web after this. It never ends. Number 4. Deadpool 3. A Wolverine-Deadpool team-up has been the dream of many a superhero movie lover for a while, but now that it's coming up, the response has been a bit mixed. Look, there's no denying that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman doing their thing together is fun and quite adorable. However, the fact we're getting this movie now, after Logan so beautifully sunsetted Jackman's interpretation several years ago, is somewhat frustrating. Even with James Mangold's blessing, and he himself has stated that he wished Wolvie wasn't coming back, Jackman's return as Logan undercuts that film's ending. It was the same issue with Patrick Stewart coming back for his point and applause cameo in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Emotional and thematic closure is being overruled in favor of irreverent bits of fan service that cheapen whatever cinematic credibility the genre has left in it. Deadpool 3 is likely to withstand any doubts over it undermining Logan, but that doesn't mean it necessarily should. Number 3. The Lord of the Rings. Hollywood has a habit of milking every successful movie franchise for all that it's worth, and usually takes things too far in the process. The Hobbit trilogy was a far cry from what fans expected from a Lord of the Rings follow-up, and the reaction to Amazon's The Rings of Power wasn't nearly as positive as was hoped for. With the announcement of more Lord of the Rings movies from Warner Bros., it feels as though they will simply keep getting made until that first magic can be recaptured, something that will likely never happen. The general consensus from fans is that this is a franchise that just needs to be left alone. There is one caveat in this. Should this new Lord of the Rings project turn out to be an adaptation of the Silmarillion, fans may open up to it slightly, but even then, it would still have to be spectacular. Please, please, please don't remake the OG trilogy. That would just be terrible. Number 2. Toy Story 5. It may sound something of a cliche, but that doesn't make it any less true. You absolutely can't have too much of a good thing. This is true in all walks of life and is a particularly dangerous line to walk in Hollywood. In 2010, Toy Story 3 gave Woody, Buzz, and the rest of Andy's toys the best possible goodbye they could have possibly wished for. Andy moved to college and the toys passed on to bring joy to Bonnie's life instead. This is where things should have ended. However, Pixar returned to the concept again with Toy Story 4 and robbed the would-be trilogy's perfect ending, before Lightyear underwhelmed both critically and commercially. Now, with the announcement of Toy Story 5 and the confirmation of both Buzz and Woody's involvement, it's kind of getting a bit ridiculous. These movies are for kids at the end of the day, so I really don't have a strong take on it, but at the same time, there's no denying that with 2 more movies after Toy Story 3, we're kind of basically contradicting the message of that closer. And number 1, Moana. As said before, there are a lot of people that are getting tired of the Disney live-action remakes. Why keep producing the same things you've made before when you could tell genuinely great new stories like Encanto? Not every successful Disney movie needs a remake or a sequel, but as long as they keep bringing in the cash, it's obvious they're going to continue to be made. Case in point, a live-action version of Moana, by far the fastest turnaround we've had for one of these yet. Moana is only 7 years old, and it's great and it's beautiful. There's no need to do this. What's even more annoying is that while Dwayne Johnson is reprising his role as Maui, Aulai Carvalho will not be returning for the titular role. Boo! Boo! And there you have it, 10 upcoming movies that have already pissed fans off. Are there any other projects coming out soon that you've had yourself getting rankled by? Shout them out down in the comments below, and also be sure to drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss another upload. Either way, I've been Ewan, thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you next time, under happier circumstances. Bye!